Hey, what's up, everybody? CEO of PsychLife here. As you already know, if you haven't already, please click the subscribe button or the like button to help the algorithm in our channel for more traffic. Today, I wanted to ask the question, are human beings social creatures? And we're going to talk a little bit about the evolution behind human beings. So let's start off by talking about maybe human beings have been around for anywhere between 15 to 10,000 years. We have had many ancestors. And if we believe Charles Darwin, we have gone through a process and a series of evolution that has allowed us to be right here before us through technology and you being able to watch this video. It should be important to note that throughout our evolution, we weren't always this way. Human beings began in caves where they formed groups of hunters and gatherers. And human beings very early on realized that alone, one human being alone, could not survive in the wild. There were tigers, there were bears, there were lions, there were poisonous plants. An individual can just get sick at any given moment. And who would take care of them? If someone broke a leg, if they were part of a group, they would have more chance of surviving. If they weren't, they were fresh meat for whatever animals might be hungry out there, or other groups of human beings. This is so crucial for us to understand, because one human being alone surviving in the wild had little chance, especially 10,000 years ago. But in a group, things changed, didn't they? All of a sudden, if someone got sick, they could remain alive, because the group would handle some of their chores or role within the group. If all of a sudden the group was hungry and there was high group numbers, they could go out and hunt, and they can work together and establish roles within that group. This is how it all started for us. Back then, we couldn't even, as human beings, the species, we couldn't even talk. But our complex systems that we began forming, complex system all began as a group, allowed for our brain to wire itself and form itself to the most complex organ that exists on this planet. And I take a lot of pride in saying that I'm a human being, and I hope you do as well. So let's get into some of the topics surrounding this. Why did our brain evolve to the way that it is now? The most complex organ that exists on this world, on planet Earth. And the most complex organ evolved because of our need to be socials. The more the group numbers, the more complex the system is. And the more complex the system is, the more our brain is required to adapt and form neurological connections. And this allowed our brain to evolve to the complexity that it is. Just so you guys understand a little bit, if we were to grab the human brain and its size and its mass and compare it to the human body, the ratio will be a lot smaller compared to other animals. Meaning that if I were to grab, let's say, a dolphin or a whale or a bear, their ratio to brain size and body mass would be significantly bigger than the human species. Why is this important to note? Because the brain size doesn't matter. What matters is brain size compared to body size, the ratio. And human beings, let me tell you something, are at the top of that hierarchy. Not only is our brain mass ratio to body mass the smallest compared to any other species, our ability to adjust to any single environment is greater. I'm going to keep on going as this video goes along and talking about this fascinating subject, because it really is a fascinating subject on if human beings are social creatures or not. It's really a question. It's a theory that's actually been put out there over the last 15 years and has really taken on its course. And we can see this course through the social brain hypothesis, which proposes that the reason the human brain evolved to the most complex organ that even names itself, it actually names itself the brain, this organ. The most complex organ on this planet that we know of, the reason it evolved was for our need to be social and build complex systems. So what started out as groups all of a sudden evolved into towns, into small cities, into small societies. And this is so intriguing because as groups formed and got bigger and bigger, it meant that it became more complex, because now there was different dynamics, there were different social rules, more people had to be taken into account. And let's be honest, if as a human being I was rejected by a group 10,000 years ago, my chance of survival went down. And that is significant to this subject right here, because when you are rejected by a group, it still has the same biological effects it did 10,000 years ago. And I'll give you an example right now. I'd explain it. Social pain, aka rejection, or breaking up from a lover, is experienced in the same part of the brain as physical pain. So let's say I hurt my knee and I twist my ankle, whichever, or I'm a basketball player. So let's say I twist my ankle. All of a sudden, when I twist it, immediately I feel a shot of pain, but I can probably play through it. But after, all of a sudden, it becomes swollen, and it keeps getting swollen depending on the gravity of the injury, and the pain is shot up all through my body into my brain, and it's almost the physical pain is felt in a region of the brain. Well, let's say all of a sudden I get rejected from a group that I wanted to join. Then all of a sudden, social pain, that pain of rejection, or that pain of rejection from a lover, someone I admire or have a crush on, is experienced in the same part of the brain as physical pain. What does this mean? It means that social pain serves an evolutionary purpose. The fact that social pain is experienced in the same part of the brain as, let's say, twisting my ankle, physical pain, shows that social pain has its evolutionary purpose. Just like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, being rejected by a group earlier on in the human existence led to us having an inability to survive, and us feeling that pain make our behaviors in accordance to that rejection. And so you have to understand there's a biological evolutionary purpose to the reason why social pain and physical pain are experienced in the same part of the brain. Not to mention the aspect about mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are activated when we observe someone doing a task or observe someone engaging in certain affects, meaning affects means emotional expressions. If all of a sudden I see someone crying on the street, I understand that they're crying and they feel hurt. It may make me more inclined to actually go over and say and ask them if they need something. This was due to something called mirror neurons. I saw someone's facial expressions crying, and my brain automatically empathizes with them, and I can see how they feel. I don't know why, but I can see how they feel. I might be a little bit more inclined to go over there and ask them for help. If I see someone doing an exercise at the gym, then I can actually see the muscles that they're working out as they're doing that exercise. Those are my mirror neurons. Mirror neurons are constantly operating within the human brain, within our individual brain. And just to add a little extra note here, if you check out our podcast, you would see that mirror neurons in our autism spectrum podcast, by the way, you would see that mirror neurons is at a deficit with those with autism spectrum disorder. It's been a constant research developments concerning this, which is why those diagnosed with autism, once again, because it's a diagnosis given to someone because they meet an array of symptoms. So those diagnosed with autism, they almost surely always have a lack of mirror neurons operating in the brain, which is why they have trouble empathizing with individuals. Once again, I'll say this again. If I see someone on the street crying, I will understand that they may be feeling hurt because my mirror neurons are being activated. Why is this important? Because it helps us understand feelings. If we did not have mirror neurons, we would not be able to empathize as well with other human beings. Once again, there's an evolutionary purpose behind mirror neurons, which is to allow us to become more socially engaged. Mirror neurons also help us understand social situations, and it helps us understand facial expressions and affects. Imagine a society, I just want you guys to get a grasp of the significance of this. Imagine a society where people didn't understand other people's emotions. How would political systems be formed? These are complex systems that only human beings form. We are the most complex organism on this planet, with the most complex organ known on this planet. And this is based off science. This isn't based off anything else. And beings are the only animals within the animal kingdom that can actually form complex relationships. In matter of fact, if I were to grab your brain and put it through an fMRI, which is a brain scan, just so you guys know, 80% of the time you would be thinking about other people. Think about your life. Everything involves other people. Everything from you playing video games online to the business transactions that you do. They may be for yourself, but they involve other people. From the football games you're watching other people play football game. From your profession, it probably involves other people. If not, you're not going to be able to make money. So everything that you do in your life, matter of fact, if I were to put you to that brain scan just to finish that off, 80% of the time you would be thinking about social interactions, things that involve other people, whether you realize it or not. It's not until you really think about it that you realize that your whole life revolves around other people. So once you understand this notion, and once again we go back to the question, are human beings social creatures? I would definitely say yes, we are. PsychLife here once again, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Put some time and effort in the notes. Once again, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button. If you haven't already, we would definitely appreciate it. And click the like button as well to help the algorithm in this channel. Appreciate you guys. Take care. PsychLife here.